Being an NFL fan is not just a hobby, it is basically a religion. That is right. There's ritual, there's sacrifice, there's heartbreak, and rarely, yes, there is sometimes even joy. But like any religion, NFL fandom comes with its sins. So today we are going to be diving into the 7 deadly sins of being an NFL fan. All right, yeah. How does that sound, everyone? Good? Okay, awesome. And please, if you recognize yourself in this video, do not panic, okay? Trust me, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad fan. Nobody is perfect unless you're me. So without further ado, let's get into these juicy little sins. And I promise you, you're not going to want to miss the last one, so stick with me. First and foremost, and probably one of the most heinous sins you could possibly commit being an NFL fan, is bandwagoning. Yes, this is the equivalent of the golden rule, treat yourself how you want to be treated. Well, this rule needs its own plaque on the wall. Thou shalt not bandwagon if thou wants to be respected. Man, I'll tell you what, bandwagon fans are like seasonal allergies. They show up out of nowhere, they make everyone miserable. No, seriously, I want you to think about this. How many Chiefs fans did you really know before the year 2020? Because I can promise you, I don't think in the wild I have ever seen someone wearing a Chiefs jersey or a piece of memorabilia until they started dominating the league when Patrick Mahomes emerged. I'm not talking about little Jimmy who was born into it, okay? You know, he's growing up, he's getting into football, he's 8 years old, and he just wants to root for a good team. Okay, what are you gonna do? He came into the world bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking for a team to latch onto. You can't really blame him picking the Chiefs or the Patriots in the past, or insert the dynasty team of that era. The bandwagon fans that I have a serious problem with and that need to do some repentance are grown men changing who they root for depending on the climate of the league. And you know that person. You have a friend, maybe you have a relative, maybe you have an in-law, a coworker. It can be anyone. And you've noticed over the years that they really don't have any type of allegiance. Right now, they're wearing Eagles gear. 2 years ago, it was Patrick Mahomes jerseys. A few years before that, they were a Patriots fan. You can't ever really get your finger on the pulse of these people, but all you do know is that they are committing one of the most core and heinous sins you possibly can as a fan of the NFL. Seriously, I want you to think about this one and do some reflection. If this is something that you can relate to, maybe it's time for you to look yourself in the mirror and commit to an actual team through thick and thin. Sin number 2 that is absolutely unforgivable is excessive optimism. It doesn't matter how terrible your team was the year before. You really truly believe deep down in the core of your being that your team had the best draft in the league. Your team made the best offseason decisions. Your team made the best trades. Your team brought on the new coach that is going to turn everything around. It doesn't matter if it's a head coach or the water boy. Every single decision that your team made is going to be the reason that this year is going to be different for you. You're going to the playoffs this year. You're going to make noise, and you are going to the Super Bowl. No, I'm sorry, Browns fans. I'm sorry, Panthers fans. And I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I don't care what you tell yourselves. It is time to wake up. Okay, this is the wake-up call. I'm talking to you. Stop snoring. Your alarm is going off. Let's get back to reality.
You weird, buddy.
Sin number 3 is probably my favorite one, and the one that I find myself committing the most throughout each and every season. It's the conspiracy theorist. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Fans love to believe that the NFL is rigged, including me. It does not matter who your team is. You are the hated one in the NFL. Every missed hold, every wrongly called pass interference, every roughing the passer call that certainly should have been called on your quarterback but was wrongly called on the opposing team's quarterback is just utter and absolute proof that the NFL is out to get you, your happiness, and your favorite NFL team. No, I don't want to hear it. The truth is not just that some bad calls happen and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. Hogwash. If your team lost on Sunday because of a call that didn't go your way, it is 100% because Roger Goodell is sitting there twisting his non-existent mustache, evilly laughing at the fact that he just ruined the rest of your week. I'm all in on this one with you, okay? I understand it. There is a deep, dark underground, nasty little burrow, not Joe, of a bunch of money-hungry little pigs just colluding and manipulating each and every game so that your favorite team can never make it to the Super Bowl, can never be as good as the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles, can never be the next dynasty. It's not because of your coaches. It's not because of your players. It is directly a result of the underground black market that is the NFL. Sin number 4 is one that I will admit I do like to partake in a little bit. It depends, I'm paying good money to be at the stadium, but it's booing your own team when you are watching them play. I mean, it's fun, I never said sins weren't fun. That's why they're sins. They're tempting at times. But seriously, let's work together on this one, and let's just think about this. We shouldn't be helping the other team and supporting the other fans that are watching and rooting against you and your team's success. Why are we booing them? Yeah, I know Tua shouldn't have thrown that pass into the dirt. And I too am tired of Mike Tomlin being called the greatest players coach to ever live, but consistently have some of the worst clock management I've ever seen. Booing at the end of the day is just like yelling at your Uber driver halfway to your destination. Sure, you get your frustration out, but you're still gonna be stuck in traffic, and now everyone is just uncomfortable. Sin number 5 is trash talking gone wrong. Listen, I get it. Trash talk is the lifeblood of the NFL. I am in full and utter support of it. However, we have gotten to a point where sometimes trash talking does go a little too far. You know what I'm talking about. It may be you or it may be someone that you know, but every fan base has the guy that just takes it too far. The guy who gets into a spat on Twitter with someone else over whose team is better, and the next thing you know, he's hiring a private investigator to follow your every move so he can map out perfectly the right time to strike when you least expect it. You guys got in a fight in week 2 and it's now week 14 and he hasn't watched a football game since because all he can do is obsessively chart out how he's going to ruin your entire life because you dare to say that Josh Allen might be a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. If this is you, get some help. Sin number 6 is wild superstitions. Every fan base has a ritual, whether it's wearing their lucky jerseys that they haven't washed since 1975. I mean, just look at Bills Mafia. They literally are body slamming themselves through picnic tables because they think it is going to make their team play better. And recently, I guess, maybe there's something to it. You got Steelers fans waving their dirty, disgusting towels that they haven't washed since Terry Bradshaw had a full set of hair. Or maybe it's just your random uncle who's a hopeless Bears fan that has to watch the game from the same chair he's owned since the last time they were relevant, and he refuses to accept the fact that maybe this ritual just isn't working. We all got them. Everyone wants to believe in something. And then lastly, and probably the most common, is living and dying with the success of your team. This is the deadliest sin of all. It's terrifying. Letting football ruin your entire week. It happens to all of us. Your team blows a lead on Sunday, and now Monday feels like a funeral. By Wednesday, you're still tweeting about how the refs screwed you over, how you were truly the better team, but if your wide receiver just caught that one football, everything would have been different. By Friday, you have gaslit yourself so much over the course of the week that you truly believe this next game is going to be different. Meanwhile, all your little baby boy Johnny wants to do is go out back and play catch with his dad, and your wife just wants you to take her out on a date night. But you can't do that because you and your 20 followers on Twitter need to understand that the reason you lost was not because your team stinks, and that you and your team are better than this, and everything is going to change this Sunday where you take back your pride, all for it to just repeat itself again. So there you have it, the 7 deadly sins of being an NFL fan: bandwagoning, blind optimism, conspiracy theories, booing your own team, trash talk that just goes a little too far, ridiculous superstitions, and neglecting your family, and living and dying based on the results of your team. The truth is, we've all committed at least one of these. Some of us are unfortunately guilty of all 7, and you know what? That's what makes being an NFL fan so freaking magical. So if you ever booed your own team or wore the same underwear that you've worn without washing for the last 30 years of NFL Sundays, congratulations. You're a sinner, but you're also a real NFL fan. Hit like if you committed committed one of these sins, or drop a comment on what your favorite sin is to commit that might not be on this list. And subscribe if you've committed all 7, because don't worry, nobody's perfect, unless you're me.